What's going on, guys? Okay, so PlayStation rumors continue to flow. Same thing goes for Xbox. And one thing that a lot of people are not really doing, a lot of people are doing a good job in breaking these things down for sure, but a lot of people are not talking about games and software. So I figured, why not dedicate this video to a game that could potentially come out for the PS5, or in my case, I believe should come out for the PlayStation 5 and definitely be used as a pinnacle to push the hardware. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
He did not trouble himself with issues of jurisdiction.
Do not presume to quote history to me, Sir Percival. I've seen more of history than you shall ever know. I remind the knights here assembled that the threat to this order comes not only from without, but within. We must stand vigilant together, lest our ranks be poisoned by those who seek the destruction of all we hold sacred. No one is immune from the rebels' influence.
Surely the Lord Chancellor does not mean to question Sir Percival's loyalty.
This order has long appreciated Sir Percival's counsel, but the current disruption calls for caution and concerted effort, not rash action.
Sir Percival has cause, Lord Chancellor. The situation in Whitechapel may need to be addressed.
Does Lord Darwin speak with the blessing of the peers? Lord Hastings, Lord Dunglass.
He does, Lord Chancellor. Perhaps the question should be put to the Council.
Very well. What says the Order of Her Majesty's Royal Knights in the matter of Whitechapel? Aye or nay?
Nay!
The nays have it. This council is dismissed.
The Order 1886 takes place in the year 1886. You are a knight by the name of Sir Galahad. You serve the Order. The Order are descendants of King Arthur and the original Knights of the Round Table. Their duty is to protect not only the Queen, but to serve the Queen and protect the civilians and the militia of White Castle. A cool fact about the Knights of the Order is the fact that they still follow the Holy Grail, but in doing so, they gain access to a substance called Blackwater. Blackwater acts as a healing factor when it comes to battle. It can heal you from the brink of death, but also heal you from wounds that will mortally kill you in battle. This makes the knights much more efficient than your typical militia and much more combat efficient than any other soldier out there. Picture a super soldier serum without the actual machine to boost your senses and X amount of things. Kind of like that. The Order also follows the basic principles of a typical government, but also they have their own philosophies in order, as they focus on more than just, protecting you from rebels. There are half-breeds in the game, ladies and gentlemen. Now, half-breeds are basically Lycans. Lycans are all over the world. They are infesting the world. They pretty much are out here for blood. They're out here to eat and feed, and it's your job to protect the White Castle and as well as the civilians from this plague spreading much more. Now, what's also interesting about this is that they don't really go into detail of who exactly is starting this particular thing, but what I do like about it is how they kept it ambiguous, because it does set it up pretty nicely. Now, let's go over the Lycans. The Lycans are pretty much the star of the show. They are the star of the show. Every single scene with the Lycans, they pretty much nailed it with the game. They are some of the coolest things out here, and there are two particular stages. Now, the first particular stage of Lycans are called half-breeds. Kind of ironic they call the other one half-breeds, but we'll get into that in a second. We'll start with the half-breeds. Half-breeds are the first form, so to speak, of a Lycan. A Lycan who is a half-breed basically acts like a feral dog. They will attack you without question. They will basically try to ambush you if they can. If they can't hit you or if they can't attack you, they'll run around. They'll try to, rush at you again, or they'll try to come at you from different areas. These are basically werewolves that are just now coming into their senses and don't really have the full control over their bodies. And you will notice that as you progress throughout the story. These particular ones, though, they kind of act like mindless dogs, and they're pretty much easy to dispose of once you get the pattern right. So that's what half-breeds are. Now, the more sinister ones are the Elders. Elders are pretty much kind of like the Elders from the Underworld movie series. You guys remember what the werewolves and the werewolves and the vampires in the Underworld series. Notice how it took them centuries for their abilities to further reach their peak, right? And they became Elders, and they became much more efficient in combat. Well, this is what an Elder looks like in the Order 1886. Let's just go ahead and roll it. As far as gameplay is concerned, the Order 1886 is a third-person action-adventure game. Pretty much, well, it's got a few survival moments in it as well, but not necessarily survival horror. Like, you won't be finding particular objects to craft or anything like that, so if you're respecting that, don't, because it doesn't have that. But what's also cool about the Order 1886 is the fact that, in terms of combat, you're going to be alternating between three particular styles. You're either going to be ducking behind cover, going against rebels, or you're going to be going against half-breeds, which requires you to dodge and shoot them up and then run up and stab them. Or, in my personal favorite, you'll be going against Elders, which kinda are the best parts of the game to me personally. However, the only thing that's a big gripe with the Elders is the fact that they went with a quick time event type of formula when it came to the actual Elders. That's the only gripe that I have with the game. But aside from that, I mean, I wouldn't change anything else. I thought it was pretty good, so to speak. All right, so this is the home stretch. So we basically covered all the bases. We went over the story for the most part. We talked about the gameplay, and we talked about the characters. Now, what's pretty interesting about this game, and what I think Ready at Dawn really nailed, was the atmosphere. The attention to detail in this game still holds up, even though this game first came out at the start of this generation. It was literal. It's still there. The detail is still there. The amazing textures are still there. I love the transformation sequences with the Lycans. Everything just stands out. But another positive thing about this game that still stuck with me even after me going back and replaying it was the fact that this game still has some of the coolest weapons out there. Now, obviously, I saved this for last because this is where this game also nails it with flying colors. Through the order, you enlist the help of Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla is basically your go-to guy when it comes to your gadgets and your prototype weapons. Now, you notice there are numerous weapons in the game that the rebels use, and those are pretty much standard issue weapons that you can find throughout the world. These particular weapons are, like I said, standard for militia and for typical civilians, those who get their hands on them, so to speak. As you progress through the story, though, you realize that these particular weapons are pretty much futile as you go against elders. As you guys clearly saw in the earlier clip, they pretty much have little to no effect on elders, and they definitely, most certainly, have no effect on actual Lycans or half-breeds. Half-breeds and Lycans take much, or I'm sorry, half-breeds and elders take much more damage than a typical human, and you would need Nikola Tesla in this particular aspect to take out your foe. Nikola Tesla, most of the guns and weapons that you use on the Lycans are basically prototypes in a weird way, courtesy of Nikola Tesla.
Yes, SXM2 Falchion.
Good. Propulsion secondary ordnance should help.
What did you find?
Essex M86. Thermite rifle.
They saw their first field action a few weeks ago.
There are so many cool weapons. There's so many cool, like, functions of these things. It's unreal. It really is. My personal favorite weapon in the gun is kind of a tie. It's a tie out of the thermite weapon and, of course, the arc. Now, what's cool about the arc, when you first use the arc, it's still in prototype stage. The one that you get, at least, is in prototype stage, and it needs to be reconfigured. But as you progress to the story, you can clearly see the process of the weapon being worked on as you go through it.
That's enough. Try again now, same baseline. Now, half a turn.
It's little details like this that just makes the Order 1886 a joy to play and absolutely a fun treat. I most certainly want to see this for the PlayStation 5, and I really hope that Sony gives Ready at Dawn another chance at this game. I would like to see them come back and most certainly deliver a game that we know for a fact we can get. So Sony, for the love of Christ, please make it happen. But that's pretty much it. I really would like to see this for the PlayStation 5, and you guys clearly can see I speak highly of it because the game really was cool to me. I thought it was innovative for what it did, and I think it can most certainly benefit from new hardware. Better hardware equals, obviously, less limitations, so why not lobby for this game to get a PS5 release and most certainly get another chance to most certainly redeem itself from the consumers. Just saying, the game has the perfect setting for it. Could you guys imagine a game like this where you're going against elders, like that scene that you saw earlier, and let's say it's 4-player co-op and the game does something cool for a change where it takes your weapons away. You lose your weapons in the raid and you have to run from this thing. It's stuff like that that can spit, that can spit fear into you and make you definitely appreciate the game even more. I would like to see stuff like that. And I think this game has the potential to do that particular thing. But that's just a normal, or that's a obvious, like, my opinion on that, okay? So that's pretty much it. That's the video. If you guys liked it, I would very much appreciate if you hit that like button. If you are new, hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 3,800 subs, so thank you guys for that. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and close out. This is Ryan the Professional, and you guys be blessed. Y'all be easy. I will see you guys later, and hope you guys liked this video on my first project. So hopefully it's up to you guys' liking. All right? I'll holler at you guys later. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be easy again. And yeah, I'm out of here. Deuces.